Hey everybody, this is Lynn Turner and you are watching Southeast Rec Metal.
All right, Joe, welcome to Finland once again.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here. Really it is.
Have you ever counted how many times you have been in Finland?
I can't count that high. It's countless times since 1980, so many times, yes. And every time I come, I enjoy it. Only I wish I stayed longer. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I can't.
Well, one visit you did in the early 90s with Deep Purple during the Slaves and Masters tours. That's the one visit I'm sad, like they say in the Rainbow song, that I missed that show, because I have to say that probably someone will kill me for this, but Slaves and Masters is one of the greatest Purple albums I've ever heard.
Thank you.
That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, well, if they want to kill you, then they'd be a murder. Look, they're wrong. It is a great, thank you, first of all, and it is a great Purple album, and it's probably one of the last great Purple albums that ever existed.
But one thing was weird for me when the album came out was how the fans divided in two parts, and also the press, the media, and some of them were slamming this, that this is not Purple, this is Rainbow, and
It's
blah blah
deep
blah.
Rainbow. Right. Look, one thing I've noticed in my career is that nobody likes change. And what I don't understand is Deep Purple has had so many incarnations, so many different members coming back and forth through the band, that this was just another one of those incarnations. And then, of course, Gillan came back in and so on and so forth. Deep Rainbow, well, you got 3 guys from Rainbow, 4 guys from Purple. What do you expect? What you're supposed to be doing is listening to the music and seeing how that affects you and how it touches you. And I think pound for pound, track for track, this music lasts the test of time, okay? So you can, this is not football where you're on one side or the other. This is music. This is art. It's different. So I urge the fans to listen to the music, not politically be on, well, we want Dio, we want Gillan, Hey, look, you could still listen to those records as well. But you listen to this on its own for what it is and give it credit or not. If you don't like it, throw it in the bin. If you do like it, play it 1,000 times.
You're right about that, and that's funny, because I think that when you are doing like Greatest Hits tour or show, whatever, and you're playing Deep Purple songs and Rainbow songs and stuff like that, everyone goes crazy when it's King of Dreams or Love Conquers All or Fire in the Basement.
Yeah, we'll do that tonight. We'll do King of Dreams and Cut Runs Deep, because those are two killer songs off it. All of the songs really on that record, we made sure were really great songs. Love Conquers All, the ballad, so many people get married to that song these days. I mean, you have no idea of the countless comments I get and emails and everything else that tell me that people love this song as a romantic, forever song. But I can go on and on, whether it's Truth Hurts or whether it's, Wicked Ways, we rocked. That band rocked, and that tour was a great tour, the Slaves and Masters tour. And we knew Ritchie was going to come back. Ian was going to come back in, because BMG offered the guys a whole lot of money to do that. Yeah, he came back, and that was it. It was a money grab, and I don't think the album was all that, but, hey, look, Ian Pacey said it right. Lynn Turner was the glue that at least held Purple together to get to the next level. And I'm proud of that.
Can you remember, like I said, I didn't see you on the tour when you were in Helsinki that time at the Ice Hall, but can you remember the reactions that you received after live performances?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, the people who came to see us doing Slaves and Masters loved it. They were right there for it. Maybe some came for just Ritchie, maybe some came for the album, whatever it was, because we did a cross-section of material, and they wanted to see, maybe they were curious, they wanted to see if I could handle some of the Gillan stuff and some of the maybe whatever. And if I look on YouTube now, which It's rare, but if I do, a lot of the comments are, hey, you know, maybe Joe wasn't right for the band, according to me, but he did a good job. And you know what? That's all that matters. I did a good job for them.
And that Purple lineup, you also did, like, you know, David Coverdale, Glenn Hughes era stuff.
Yeah, I mean, look, Ian won't do any of that stuff. You know, nobody will do anybody else's songs but me. I think they're either afraid to do them, they can't do them, or whatever, but I at least do what we call justice to all those songs. Because Ritchie knew I was an above-board singer who could cover all that stuff. I make it my own. I give respect to the original, but at the same time, I turn around and sing it my way. And that's what I'll do tonight at the concert. Because that's what I think an artist should do. If he's covering a song, he pays respect to the original artist, but yet do it your way. Add a little something, a little spice, you know, and do it your way.
Because, you know, when you sing a song from Gillan era or Coverdale Hughes era, there has to be something from you.
It has to be. I think it's ridiculous to try and, as we say, ape, you know, monkey someone else. I mean, you tip your hat, you give respect, sing it your way. You know, this is giving tribute and honor to those who came before you. There's nothing wrong with that. How many people do covers of songs? They do it their way. And sometimes the covers you like better than the originals. Sometimes. I mean, look, music should be an art, and it should be varied forms, and it should have a lot of area to expand. And if you just keep pigeonholing it into one small section, you really take the art away from it. You take the soul away from it, the personality away from it. So I think people have to stop treating it like a football game where it's like, you know, this red against blue, you know. It's not. There's no adversary. There's no rivalry. It's not a competition. It's an art form. It's elevated and transcendent above that. There's no score. You know, there's no who wins. There's not.
And sometimes when another singer does someone else's song, it can get more, you know,
Can become a hit.
yeah, or get more feelings to somebody else, something like get something out of it more than the original one. I think that's the greatest thing when you are doing someone else's songs. You hear, oh, well, this band did that, but I didn't get this feeling from it, although it was good. But now, oh, what a song!
That's absolutely correct. That's a great observation. Because a lot of times when they do a cover of a song, you like the cover better than the original. Or it touches you more. Why? Maybe it was the singer's voice. Maybe it was slowed down. Maybe it was this or that. But whatever it is, a song is a song and is a song. And it exists. And it's meant, and if it's a good song, it can be done so many ways. You can make it a ballad maybe, or you could make it more rocking, you know, or you could do this or that to it. And if it's done well, you like it. It's done great. It doesn't matter if it was, well, this was originally done by them, and that's the only way you can do that song. You know, that world of yours is going to break because you have this very strict mentality. You can't have a strict mentality in art. You have to have an open mentality and say, well, I like the original better. Or in some cases, when I would cover some songs, they say, well, I like his version better. Well, I took it from the original, so I'm giving respect to it. And I loved it so much I would do the version of it. That's why I would do a cover, because I loved the song.
That's true.
Yeah.
You're talking right.
Freedom.
Yeah, that's
Freedom.
true. Yeah, freedom to do it. Well, let's come back to the 2000, and you did the Belly of the Beast album with Swedish guy Peter Tedgren. So are you planning to do more stuff with him?
No, actually, I talked to Peter and even a year ago, and he said his calendar is so full right now. He's working 2 bands. I mean, he was doing Lindemann, but that's over with and so on. But he's just really, really too busy, and he needed a break. So he said, I'm sorry, man, I can't do a second record. I said, you know something? That's okay. I don't intend on repeating myself. I think it was David Bowie who said an artist should never repeat himself. And I did Belly of the Beast as a major project to send out not only the music, but the message. And I think that message is still there. I don't need to repeat this message over and over again. I'm not trying to preach. What I'm trying to do is put it in a musical form to educate people. However, I've been writing with a couple of Swedish guys right now who are brilliant, and I went back to actually writing songs that are meaningful personally to people. Not that Belly of the Beast isn't, but what I'm trying to say is, if you look at my past, it's great songs, great hooks, great melodies that you can walk away singing, whistling, whatever, remembering. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm not so concerned with I'm not going to save the world. It's already proven that they cannot be saved. The only way you can save it is by saving yourself. So I urge everyone to be awake, save yourself. Me, I'm going back to very classy, well-produced, sort of, it's like great material with a modern production. You know, I want to change up that too as well. So I don't want to repeat myself.
So can you tell us when is that probably coming out?
Oh, definitely not until 26 at this point. I really want to finish the summer things that I have, a lot of festivals, individual gigs. I have a new 2-year-old boy, so I want to spend time with Matteo and watch him grow. He's fantastic. And I want to take a holiday, and I will not tour in the winter because it is too dangerous with travel. It honestly is. I've been in too many situations in the past. So I will be able, fortunately enough, to take the winter off, work on the record, come out in the spring, you know, something 26. And I'm in no rush. Only, again, the world is in flux right now. The world is a bit chaotic. And I think that we need to settle down a bit, you know, and otherwise your release will get lost in all the fluff, as I say. So I'm in no hurry for various reasons. Yeah. But I've got 10 songs already perfectly written. More than 10, but I know 10 are solid, killer, you know. And I'm very excited about them because they're really, each song for me is a gem. It's a diamond. They're so good.
Well, that's one thing which is worth of waiting then.
Oh, hey, if it's worth the wait, if it's worth it, it's worth the wait. That's an old saying. And it's absolutely worth it. And for my fans out there, my base, guys, you won't be disappointed. You're just going to love this record. It's what Lynn Turner is all about, okay? Yeah. You know, and I'm being true, as usual, to my integrity and to myself. And I think that's extremely important, that I'm not trying to change with the times. I'm not trying to alter anything. I'm just being who I am. And I think that would be good advice for a lot of people.
And that's the best thing that artists can do.
That's the only thing we should do. I find, and I'm afraid that there's too much copyists, as we say. I call it cookie cutter. You know, when you're making the cookies, you just make the same cookies the same way. And a lot of people try to look, sound, act, and appear like each other, and the originality is lost. And that's what art should be. It should be original. Now, there was a time where I could tell you exactly what band was who, you know. And now, I don't know I can't tell what bands these are. They all sound the same, similar produced, similar instrumentation, similar messages. I'm like, what's going on here?
They sound too clean.
Homogenized, you know, all the same bottle of milk.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, before we used to have very distinct artists. Yeah. You knew it was AC/DC. You knew it was Purple. You knew it was someone. Judas Priest. Instantly. Yeah. Now you can't tell who's who. Everybody with a laptop is making records. And my message to them is, be yourself, be original, don't copy. Don't listen to what's popular, because it's going to fade away very quickly. And if you want to be legend, you need to be original.
That's a great advice for everyone out there.
It really is.
No matter what you do. Yeah. But one last question, sure. Joe. Can you tell us something funny, because you've been touring a lot and with great musicians, and some of them has what I've heard, has a very strange sense of humor. So, is there anything funny thing that you can tell us from the road? What happened? Some pranks or jokes or something?
Oh, well, I mean, probably too many to mention, especially with during the Ritchie days, the Blackmore days, because he is an amazing prankster, and it still goes on today. But Ritchie was classic. He was a very clever guy, and he used to do so many tricks, especially if you were new in the band, and I mean, I don't even know which one to start with because there were so many. After I became a member of the band, of course, the tricks on me were less and less, and they were directed towards Dave Rosenthal and whoever. But one thing that happened to me when I first joined the band, which I thought was extremely funny, was that we were doing a warm-up date in France, and it was a shed, open air. It was like 10,000 people, but still it was a warm-up date. And I was out there doing a solo. I think maybe I was doing Long Live Rock and Roll or something. And all of a sudden, pretzels and bread and these pieces of processed meat came up at me, and tomatoes and things like that. And I was like, wow, and the lights were so bright I couldn't really see what the audience was doing. And I got really pissed off, and I threw I said, merde, like shit, and I threw the mic down. But as I'm walking off stage, I see Ritchie and a couple of guys from the band in the pit with the catering plate throwing all this stuff at me, you know what I mean? And I realized at that point what a fool I was, because it was them that was doing this as a big joke, and I was because I was a new guy, so I was a little trepidatious and afraid. And I thought it was the audience. Things like that he would do. Or he would do your room in Copenhagen, I'll never forget. 3 o'clock in the morning and knock at my door, and his personal busted my door in. In walks Ritchie and Bobby Rondinell. Ritchie's playing an acoustic guitar, English Country Garden. Bobby's drinking bottles of wine. And they proceeded, and Ian Broad, who was Ritchie's personal at the time, they started to destroy my whole room. Throw everything out the window. Everything was being thrown out the window, and then they took the mattress, and I was like, hey, I'm going to need that. And they took the mattress. I'm in my shorts now, I'm going to bed. I was out Daddy's disco drinking, and I'm like hungover, and I'm ready to. Anyway, they take the mattress, and they start running down the hall with it, and I'm holding on, getting rug burn on the knees, on the belly, on the elbows. I let go of the mattress. They throw it in the elevator. They push the button. That's the last we saw of the mattress. I don't know where it went. So I run back to my room. I try to lock the door. The sun's coming up. I've got a shred of curtain as a blanket, because everything's gone. And TV, everything's gone. And I didn't sleep, obviously, so I said, I might as well go get downstairs to breakfast. I go downstairs, and Don Aries reading the paper, and he looks up at me and says, sleep well? And I says, not at all. And I've got the dark glasses on like now, and he says, me either. He said, all night, something kept going past my window. And I said, yeah, that was my room. And he goes, oh, they did your room, did they? Okay. And he goes on reading. So I'm like shocked, right? I'm new. And all of a sudden I sit down to eat, and along comes the manager of the hotel. And he looks like just like Mr. Faulty from Faulty Towers. Tall guy, skinny tie, black and white suit. Good morning, Mr. Turner. And I'm like sitting there like, oh no, here it comes. And he says, can I have a word with you? We need to go up to your room. And I said, this is it. I'm dead. So we go up in a long elevator ride to 1204. I'll never forget it. And we open the door, and he looks around, and he says, oh dear. And he says, well, I think we can have this cleared up in about maybe a month. And I look at him like, what? And he goes in his pocket, and I go, oh, here comes the bill. And he hands me an envelope, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what this is going to cost. And I open it up, and it says, welcome to the band. It's all been paid for by Mr. Blackmore. And then he goes, we have your new suite ready, and all these guys come in, grab all the suitcases and start to bring them to this new, bigger room, right? And I'm standing there like shocked, right? And I just couldn't believe it, but it was all paid for by Blackmore. And they said, welcome to the band. Can you believe it? These were the kind of things that were happening back then that I doubt are happening anymore today.
But he must have been planned all the stuff, like, probably a couple of days before he did that.
Oh, he could plan it instantly and get his people to execute it. For example, we're in Canada, Calgary, Canada, and the Chateau Lacombe, very big, fancy hotel, and it has these glass doors that open this way, right? Look, beautiful place, and that really big marble lobby, and the desk. And in those days, there was no internet or anything, or no cell phones, so you used mail, actual mail. Yeah. So I was going to the desk to see if there was any postcards or letters for me, which there was one. So I received my letter or something, and all of a sudden, I see this white, long, 13-cylinder Jaguar, white one, pulling up in the lobby. And the window comes down, and it's his personal, Ian Broad, the guy who destroyed my room. And Blackmore's in the passenger seat. And Ian goes, have you got a room for Mr. Blackmore? And the staff is absolutely going out of their mind. He drives into the lobby of the hotel with the Jaguar. Have you got a room for Mr. Blackmore? And I went, that's it. I've seen it all now, And they're all scared. You can't be in here, mon Dieu. They're speaking French and what have you, And you got to get that car out of here right now. And he's sitting there like, no problem. This is the kind of stuff that went on.
Quite crazy.
Quite crazy, quite unbelievably impossible to comprehend. And it went on all tour, okay, because there were so many different things that had happened. And they were really, most of them were homeless, but there were some incidents, which I won't mention, where it could have gotten dangerous, a little bit dangerous, but and that happened too. But then also we'd stop and there'd be silence, But he was a prankster,
And now they pretty much nice memories for you from the road.
Oh, enormous memories, enormous fun, enormous high and lows, memorable. I'm so blessed to live a life like this, really I am. I'm so fortunate, and, because it's like nothing else, Where else would you get this kind of stuff happening, I'm in process of writing a book. And I think some of these stories will have to be in the book,
Have to be.
Yeah, I'm not interested in, who did these drugs and with girls. And I'm not interested in that part of rock and roll. And there was plenty of that going on. But I'm more interested in the fun and the dream. And I'm more interested in sending a message out that if I could do it, you can do it. Because there are so many people out there that have the same dream, that somehow get sidetracked or disappointed and give up. Never give up. Never give up. That's the important thing. Never give up. And no matter how many times you fall down, it's about how many times you get back up and carry forward.
Well, that's the great point to stop the interview, and we end it here, and we'll let you get ready for the show tonight here in Hamina.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here, and it's great to have you on our show.
It's always wonderful to be in Finland. You've got great people here. It's a great country, and clean and wonderful, and I don't know. I always have a great time here. So thank you for your invites, and I hope to see you all at the show and many, many more shows to come. God bless you and your families, and keep you.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. My pleasure.